What's going on, you guys? This is Trigr, your host. This is Bring Your Friends Game Feed, where we talk about anything game related and pretty much discuss it in general. My two co-hosts, Rein. Say something, Rein. Introduce yourself to the lovely crowd.
What's up?
Well, that was great. All right, Kyle.
Hi, friends.
You guys are such idiots. All right, so today we're going to be talking about three things in general. The first being Guild Wars 2, specifically downstate and weapon swapping. No more weapon swapping in game. So first off, what do you guys think about
Tournament?
in tournament mode, right? In SPVP. First off, what do you guys think about Guild Wars 2 in the state it's in right now? Be honest.
In the current state,
Yeah.
I think it's slowly dying. Like it's taking the toll like what Rift went through. It's not as popular as what it was when it first was released. But as far as like its attraction, like people are attracted to the PvP. I mean, they always have. Guild Wars 1, it was all about the PvP. So that's going to be primary mainstay as far as with what people are going to kind of get out of the game. But the kind of nerf that they did with the weapon swapping and stuff like that.
Do you think it was a good or bad thing in SPVP?
I mean, in my opinion, I think it was a good idea just because you're not able to kind of stage exactly your build when you get into the fight. If you could basically swap out your weapons and you're like, oh, we got this comp and they got this comp, okay, we'll use these set of weapons instead. So it kind of makes a more fair kind of situation. But I mean, it's also a double-edged sword, because you could be running a comp and somebody else is running a similar comp, and you're not able to change or basically combat that type of comp. So, I mean, in some ways it's unfair, but I think Guild Wars overall is just trying to make it balanced so people don't try and fear-craft the game too much.
I really don't think it has any negative drawbacks whatsoever as far as the weapon swapping, just because usually when people weapon swap, like in SPVP or whatever, it's always most likely for mobility. So like really weak classes that don't have a lot of mobility, or people will be like, oh, well, I don't have to spec in mobility because I can just simply weapon swap and go to my point or whatever, go to short point, set up a portal and go elsewhere. I think this will like force teams to like actually make their specs and synergize around their entire team in general, instead of just, oh, well, I don't have to set up my spec or anything for mobility anymore. I can just simply weapon swap, and it's really cheesy. The developers never really designed the game for it. I mean, that was never something they like advertised. Oh, well, now in the game you can change out different weapon swaps, and that was just the best thing ever. It's like no, it's like this was never intended. It should have been taken out of the game long ago, or whatnot. I think with
I don't see why it's such a big deal though. Like it wasn't like game changing.
Yeah, but how can you say that though? Because like getting from one point to another faster can potentially get you the cap, and the cap can potentially get you the win. So I mean,
Yeah,
it
but
kind of was game
that being
changing.
said though, a lot of the bad players that we played with whenever we were doing tourneys and shit, I feel like even some of the people that we were playing with weren't even taking advantage of it. Like the only people that were doing it were like really good players. It just adds another aspect to the game. Like if you want to get somewhere, I don't think you should be hindered by choosing a certain type of weapon just to get somewhere faster.
What about class changing before game starts?
I think that's fucking retarded.
Yeah,
I
like
don't think it should be.
there are many, just like same thing with the weapon swapping. People are complaining that they should be able to change their classes before a game, and that utterly breaks the game in general. Like when you make a 5-man team, you should stick with the 5 people that you got, not go in there and be like, oh, well, they have this many bunkers, so we should get a bunch of condition-based teams and obliterate them. That's
Yeah.
stupid.
I mean, that's kind of partly why I quit the game though. You
Why?
know?
Just because
It's
it was
not
just
really
unfair in
skill
general.
based. It's not really skill based, and the
When you
fact
have
that
teams swapping out characters and weapons and such.
it's just so easy to go flavor of the month because you don't have to level a character, which I love that part of the game, and it really made it fun for me. But
I hate that part of
At
the
the
game. That's
at the
just
same time, it kind of ruined the game because thieves are OP, roll a thief. Mesmers are OP, roll a mesmer. It's just so easy to do it.
So you're just saying the time it takes to actually log in, make a character, and then pretty much deck your guy out takes no time at all once
I
they
mean,
realize there is a flavor
yeah.
of the month.
I mean, you know me, man. I played fucking every class except for engineer, and it was because like doing it that way, it's so easy to learn the other classes. Like when I was having trouble with mesmer, I made a mesmer, and you learn the whole class. Like I don't know. I feel like it takes a lot out of the skill level involved to learn the game.
I don't really think it takes away from the skill. That being said, like, you know, you go in, you play 5 minutes, and then you have it fresh 80. I think
Yeah.
having all the abilities at your disposal makes you a better player. I think for the most part, like I don't really know why, but I just think that it's easier to distinguish whether or not A, you want to be able to play your class or not, and B, if it's for you. Like that's one of the reasons why I hated leveling to begin with in WoW, is because like, oh well, I got to level to 90 to figure out whether or not I want to play a warlock or not. You know, it's just like, and if you don't like it, it's just like that's all that time wasted.
Yeah.
But as
Well,
far
it's kind of different with WoW though because in WoW you can make a lot of stuff work if you're a good player. You can play like, for instance, in 3v3 arenas, you can play with your friends, and as long as you have like a healer and 2 DPS, like you can get to a pretty high rating, not rank 1, but
yeah,
well,
so
well, in that situation, though, you'd still have to level up the character to 90 to actually do that type of PvP. You can't just, go in and do arenas right off the bat at level 1.
yeah. I mean,
but like,
for me though, I hated leveling until I recently leveled again. I play Shadow Priest, and I just recently leveled a warrior because I'd always wanted to play warriors, and now they're not OP, but they're pretty strong now. And like I hated leveling, but it's so fucking fun leveling now. Like just ganking the shit out of people. Like I was sharing my screen with Trigr, and he saw me just obliterating like 3 or 4 people at a time that were questing and shit.
yeah, but that's not
Oh,
really
I-
leveling though. That's part of leveling. I mean, that's just taking time out of your leveling to go in PvP. That's not really incorporated into leveling. I mean,
it's
if you could literally go in and PvP from one to 90, I would say great. I would level
can
a
do
character.
that. You can.
Yeah, but you don't get the same experience as if you were questing. That's the whole point. Like, if you would get the same experience if you can do it in the same amount of time, I would definitely PvP
You can.
the entire
You can.
way.
You can now.
You get the
leveled
same
from-
XP,
I leveled from 89 to 90 in like 6 hours.
but you have to start at like what, level 10 or something?
yeah, PvP starts at level 10 in WoW.
Yeah, but like you're looking at leveling like it used to be, like it's gonna be fucking forever to level. It took me 5 days to level my warrior.
But is
Not-
oh, go
Not
ahead.
5 days playtime, like 5 days of playing the game to level it.
We're kind of getting off topic though. But as far as
Very wow.
but as far as downstate in Guild Wars 2, what do you think about it? Do you think it adds? Do you think it adds depth to the game, or do you think it adds a lot of negative just crap that should be taken out? I know
So-
you
Say that again.
downstate. I know you hate it.
It's so
Kaya.
fucking retarded. It ruined that game.
What do you think about it, Rein?
Well, I mean, I like the downstate. Call me weird, but like downstate, I'm so used to downstate in like games like Borderlands and Left 4 Dead. It's pretty much where they got the idea for the downstate. And in this kind of PvP environment, some of the abilities seem kind of unbalanced in Guild Wars 2, but the overall concept with the downstate, where it's like you have a chance, kind of deal, or somebody can come and res you. I dig the idea, just overall because it creates kind of like a second level of the PvP environment, where the downstate is something else that you have to worry about, as opposed to just, I just killed that guy, whatever. It's, I just took that guy down, he's in a downstate, I'm going to have to finish him off.
I don't really I don't know. I don't really agree with that whatsoever, just because of the mere fact that everyone's downstate is like so much drastically different than others that it almost makes the game more unbalanced than just having regular downstate in general. Like, I feel that for one, it slows the game down. For two, some classes based off of how much power you have definitely benefit more from downstate than others. Like I've seen thieves from downstate literally kill somebody by simply auto attacking, and that doesn't take any skill. I mean, that literally is just you hit one
Spamming
and
one button.
you spam one button and you take someone down to downstate with you. I mean, it doesn't really add any variety to the game, I don't think. I believe if you kill somebody, you should just be rewarded by them being dead. I think the best way to fix downstate in Guild Wars 2 is, like right now, if you die in SPVP, you get like a 15-second timer and then you go back in. I think they should get rid of downstate completely, and therefore reduce the timer in which you come back. Therefore, because like say if you get somebody in downstate, it takes like what? Realistically, 10 seconds to kill them. So say if you die, you have a 5-second timer.
Unless you try to coup de grace.
Right. I mean, regardless, it's still going to take around like 10 seconds or so if someone's trying to evade you, whether it be smoke bomb or invisibility and with Mesmer go somewhere else, or with Warrior and get back up, and they die in 10 seconds anyways. So that being said, once they're dead, and you have a reduced timer to get rid of the time it would have taken you to kill them in downstate. I think that would drastically balance the game in general, and I think it'd be a lot faster pace, and I think a lot of people would play because of it. Like, just reduce the timer, get rid of downstate, and add in 2v2, 3v3, and 5v5, put it in their own brackets.
Dude, why haven't they done that yet?
I don't know. Like, if they had like different type of game modes, they said they're going to in February, but you do that and people would flock back to that fucking game just because of the fact that I think the dodge roll mechanic is like something that no other MMO has, and I think it's something that takes a lot more skill to use than trading cooldowns, in my opinion. I'm not saying that WoW is just like, that doesn't take any skill at all, but I just think it's more overall more fun to play.
Yeah.
But that's just me though.
I think the biggest problem that Guild Wars 2 is having as far as with implementing the 2v2, 3v3, and 5v5, more than likely is probably some type of balance.
Yeah.
Because if you have a really bad like a balance mechanic inside your game, you know, you're going to find that all the 2v2s you have essentially a Guardian and a Warrior all the time. That's just an example. I'm not saying that.
Do you know, like, that game's going to be so hard to balance because there's no healers in the game. Like, no real healers. There's, like, elementalists and shit that have a few heals, but there's none.
I don't think that'll be much of a problem just because you can pretty much spec your guy out to where you can, like, heal yourself and pretty much become a tank with any class. That being said, like, I could spec out my Mesmer to be like a Mantra spec and give myself 3 heals instead of 1, and then have it to where I get regeneration every time I hit a heal, so I'd be pretty much an unkillable just monster.
You'd be a bunker.
Right, and then I'd just rely on stealth and utilities to support the second guy, which is, you know, doing his job or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But overall, I think downstate needs to go. I think weapon swapping needs to stay.
Needs to go. If they want to keep that in the game, they could change it something to, like, make it to where it doesn't even have a cast time. You finish off the guy, he's laying there on the ground, and you just, you know, you hit F or whatever you have it keybound to, and you just stab that fucking stake through them, and they're dead. Like, I would like that. Like, that's cool. But
well, if you use quickness, you can do it that fast.
Yeah. Or unless they imply some type of quickness to where you can stomp like hella fast.
Yeah.
Like that would honestly, so they can literally just keep their cheesy ass mechanic and still have it, you know, somewhat
or add a
of a thing
build that lets you stomp faster.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, that's not a bad idea actually.
That way it takes a certain amount of skill to do it and teamwork.
Yeah.
But then at the same time though, I feel like a lot of the reason that game died so quickly is not going back to WoW here, but just as an example, like no one does 5v5s, and it's because it's really fucking hard to get 5 people on the same page.
Right, and same thing with Guild Wars, and not to mention the fact that the paid tournament thing is so fucked up.
Yeah.
So, but moving on.
I would definitely reinstall the game if they had arenas.
You do what?
I would definitely reinstall Guild Wars if they brought arenas. I would give it another shot.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people will go back. All right, so let's see. We got indie games.
I fucking love indie games.
Why are indie games so popular now as to before?
You mean lately?
Yeah.
I just fucking love watching indie games because I don't really play many indie games, but that's definitely my favorite thing to watch people stream because all the games that are indie games are like so fucking creative compared to all the other games. They're not just like
You don't think it's just like you think it's like not washed over or whatever.
yeah, it's not fucking set up by people sitting around a desk. It's like people trying to create a fucking original cool game.
Well, I think primarily what you're trying to target is like indie games don't make clones as like say for example WoW clones. So
Uh,
like you have WoW and then you have Lord of the Rings, and it's Lord of the Rings is basically a WoW clone. It's taking ideas from another game and pretty much recreating it so they can make money off of it. As
yeah,
opposed to like an indie game where it's like, let's use this new idea and see how well it does. These
yeah.
new ideas come out, and some of the most popular of the indie games, Minecraft.
Minecraft.
It's an indie game, and it really brought in a new concept that people just absolutely adore, especially in the alpha stages, and then when it became the beta stages, it just exploded.
Yeah.
People were talking about Minecraft, and really it was just an idea that somebody went with, and one guy.
Like I'm surprised
programmed.
it exploded so much. I think like it's almost like Minecraft is like the modern day like Lego set for the most part.
Yeah, it's. I think it mostly targets nostalgia from a lot of people, and that's what people really kind of grip onto at times is the nostalgia of their
Yeah,
and
it
like
brings back a lot of creativity in the mind. You know?
Yeah.
and the crazy thing is the game doesn't even have really an objective. I mean, they put an objective near the end of the beta, but like really the game really doesn't have any sort of end goal, and
You cut
like
out there a little bit. It doesn't have any why.
it doesn't have an end goal. It doesn't have like
Yeah.
any sort of objective. You just survive, and even the survival part of it is pretty much laughable. But
A lot of the cool part about it is you make your own end game, like or your own like an
you
end.
make your own world.
You
Yeah.
create a project, and you finish it and feel good about it, and then you can start on a new project.
Well, a lot of people that are into art and stuff like that, they actually have Minecraft communities where somebody hosts a server, and like you have to apply for this server, and they basically take applications and do interviews and stuff, and see what kind of things that you're capable of, and give you actually a section of the game for you to do your work.
Oh wow, that's
Um,
really cool.
Yeah, they actually have those types of servers that exist. And there's other people that do these projects, like, for example, somebody uses the freestyle mode and, creates the enterprise, and you have this whole team of people. I've seen like as high as like 50 to 100 people that are on the server, and they're going off of an architectural plan and actually building, the USS Enterprise, or making a floating island, or doing all these little crazy projects, and
That
it's just
shit's good for the mind, man, because it makes you think.
As
It's
far
not
as
just
oh, go ahead.
playing a game. Like you have to actually use your mind.
Like once you buy Minecraft, is there any other way for them to make their money, or is it like microtransactions, or what is it, or is it just literally buying the game?
buy it. Then.
Buy it, you're done.
I think that's
That's
a lot.
surprising too, because like you would think that that game wouldn't be as popular, just because,
How simple.
right? Yeah.
There's a lot of clones that are coming out, and
Oh, there's
people
there's
that-
millions of clones for Minecraft. You shitting me? If you looked
Well,
on
no,
the
there's-
Xbox,
there's a lot of people that are reinventing the wheel,
Yeah.
making more diverse, more detailed block style games, so you can make slanted blocks and all kinds of crazy stuff. So it could become more creative, but it's also more complicated. And I don't think they're going to do as well, just because people will be like, "Well, this is Minecraft," and people will just play Minecraft.
You know an
Uh,
indie game that I think is gonna do really well.
Hmm.
Have you seen the game Don't Starve coming out?
no. I thought you were gonna say the Binding of Isaac.
No, no. I mean just like a survival type game.
Oh, the War. You're talking the War Z or whatever.
No, it's actually called Don't Starve.
Don't start.
It's a game on Steam. Yeah,
Uh-uh.
it's in the alpha right now, and like in the alpha, whenever the beta and the real game comes out, there's going to be objectives and stuff. But right now, you're just dropped on this island, and you have to. I mean, it sounds stupid me saying it, but when you actually play the game, you run around and collect things on this island, and you can chop down trees and use the trees to make things, and
So it's like a survival
you
stuff.
got to get food and make fire. Yeah, like it's like
It almost sounds like the War Z, like mixed with like Far Cry and Dead Island almost, in a
without
sense.
zombies.
Yeah,
Actually,
without zombies. Yeah.
there is zombies because you have to have fire on you at all times because if it's ever pitch black on your screen, like these fucking gremlins or some shit come and fucking
Well,
destroy you.
speaking of Dead Island, wasn't Dead Island actually an indie game?
Yeah. Yeah. You didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. The Dead Island was like one of the only indie games I've actually played this year, like with my buddy Tyler. Like it was great the first time around, but like the second time, like I don't think it's worth a second playthrough, but definitely worth the co-op. I think definitely worth the money.
Well, the only problem I had with Dead Island was just primarily it was a big melee game, and yeah, I'd rather shoot zombies, not melee.
Melee 'em with bats with electrical.
That's
Yeah,
what
you said ammo was really scarce in that game, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, fuck that.
but even though not for me though, because I ended up joining like one custom game, just like, and I was just sitting there AFK. I think I was eating or something, and a guy just dropped a gun and left the game. And like I went over and picked it up, and like it had 600,000 bullets in it. And
600,000 volts. That's crazy.
yeah, at
That
least.
must have been-
And I just called it the God Gun, and like it one shot everything. It was literally hacked. Like I'm surprised my account didn't get banned when I literally like took it around the game and like killed everything that I couldn't kill otherwise.
I would have shot one zombie 600,000 times.
and recorded it.
Yeah, and just
This
screamed
is
the
me
entire
shooting the
time.
God Gun 600,000 times.
Ah!
They say with the next expansion that it'll let you bring your weapons and stuff. So I might even be able to bring the God Gun into Dead Island 2 and do the same shit. So we'll find out. The final thing we want to talk about is Borderlands 2 is getting quite the popular buzz as far as DLC, correct, Rein?
Basically, it's September was when the Borderlands 2 was released, and they just recently released a third DLC pack. I mean, it's basically one a month, and it's getting crazy to the point that
How much are they charging per monthly release?
Well, you can get a season pass for 4 of the DLC content, but I've noticed that the recent one they came out with, Creature Slaughter Dome, which I think is just like arena-based combat and fight mobs. They on average go for about $10 a piece.
So
And,
$10, one releases every month for how many months?
I think February is going to be the last month when they release DLC content.
So
Like when Borderlands was out, I think they had like 5.
so so 5 total. So you'd be saving $10 if you didn't buy the season pass.
Yeah, you wouldn't be. Yeah, so far the season pass really hasn't been doing it for me because like.
I'm telling to suck my balls. I would.
But basically, the question really remains: is all this DLC content really necessary, or I mean, should they just go for like some
I haven't played the game.
expansion? So what?
I haven't played the game. Is it like cool shit? Like, is it interesting shit to do, or is it?
Well, basically, the DLC content they release is like a little bit of extra stuff that you can do. Think of it like if you were playing, Diablo 3. It's the best example I can think of.
Okay.
And they released DLC content to where you go back to Tristram and you do quests there in Tristram, and it lasts maybe like 4 hours. That's basically what these DLC packs are like, where it's just like a little incentive, hey, more quests, more experience.
Give
And,
us
like,
your money. That's what it sounds like.
Give us
4
your
hours
money.
for $10.
It's basically that's how I equate it to, because if you don't do all the quests, you just do the storyline quest. It takes you about 4 to 6 hours. It doesn't take very long at all. So
I mean, 6 hours. I mean, that's kinda, I guess, But like 4 hours, I would just be like, please let me dip my balls in your mouth. Like I wouldn't like agree to that at all. Like open up wide, just like yeah,
Borderlands 2
not
has
having
2
it.
difficulty modes, so they have the normal mode and they have true vault hunting. and you could play. I believe you can play both of the DLC contents in both, and I just don't know if the level changes with the DLC content. I would assume it would, but like I just don't understand why they're releasing so much DLC for the game. You know,
Is
like
it-
is do they really expect the game to stagnate like after the first like 29 days it was out and be like, oh, we got to release this expansion pack, this DLC. You know, to
Dude,
me it just
what-
seems crazy.
What happened to the games that come out and keep you busy? And
Yeah,
you don't have
like
to
you don't
fucking
see
keep
the
paying money.
yeah the whole market's being overflown by just DLC in general. I think that it's all about greed though. You have to understand that. Like now, like when's the last time you've actually seen a game that's come out complete with no DLC at all, with all the maps intended and
Never.
everything? I mean, can you even think
It's
of a
not
game?
even real. Not even real anymore.
Yeah, and
Except for going back to indie games, but I mean,
I
some
mean,
of them.
that's a sad thing.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean-
especially on like a forum like Steam, where they could pretty much milk that stuff. Where it's like, oh, we have Steam, we can just release this here and this here and this here, and kind of like time based. You know, well, we'll release this. You know, this is already done, but let's release it next month. You know, it's
I
like
wonder how long they already have that. I'd say when people make a game like that, they already have all that shit made, and they're just like, all right, we're running low on cash. We should just DLC it up.
I mean, at minimum, I think if they're releasing one a month for 5 months, I would either say include it all in one big package. That way, it feels like the consumer is getting a lot more out of a one-time buy than this I'm gonna go and buy something every month like bullshit. Like if they would have consolidated it all into like one expansion, I think that might be acceptable. But like this one thing a month, I wouldn't buy it just because of the main fact that it just sounds cheesy. Like it just sounds like they're going after your money, as where like a full-blown expansion to where you have all of it in one spot doesn't sound like they're going after your money. It actually sounds like they put time and effort into everything, you know, jam-packed into one CD or DVD or whatever that you just go sit down and play. I can't even think of the last time I haven't. There's a new DLC for Halo 4. Haven't bought it. Black Ops 2 was such a piece of crap garbage that I returned it even before even getting the chance to download the DLC. Battlefield 3. Actually, no, I take that back. I bought the DLC for Battlefield 3, which was actually decent, and then I bought the DLC for Skyrim, the Dawn Guard, which was fucking horrible because I couldn't get past the first quest because it bugged out, and then
because you can get to work.
yeah, I couldn't get it to work. Like I literally, the quest was just to take some vampire lady back to her castle, and they were just supposed to open the doors for you, and the old guy was just like, "Go away, we don't like trespassers," and that was it. I literally like redid the quest,
Maybe that was the
re-downloaded it.
DLC.
No,
Just,
no,
pay for that
fuck
whole
that.
thing.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. You're done.
Okay.
Because escort some fucking vampire bitch to her castle, and there's your $30. Fuck that.
I would have took the game out of the console and pissed on it. Like, just right on the floor, I would have just pissed on it.
You ended up returning it.
But other than that, I haven't bought any DLC for anything.
I almost feel like companies would make more money if they released the game with more content. That way people would brag about it and be like, dude, there's so much shit to do. But when they come out with DLC, people are like, pirate that shit. Like, you have so many pirates on the internet right now. I don't know. I just feel like it pretty much just forces people to pirate stuff that don't have a lot of money.
That actually brings up a good topic, like Skyrim. That the fact that Microsoft has a agreement with Bethesda that any DLC they come out with will come out on the Xbox 30 days prior to coming out on the PS3 and the PC, even though Elder Scrolls was more or less a PC game to begin with. Like, it's just like, how pathetic is that? Like, you're just asking for people to steal your game at that point, especially when you're making them wait longer than they have to even play your content.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
It was crazy. I didn't
people are
even
gonna
know that.
pirate that. Yeah, you kidding me? Oh yeah, everything that comes out DLC for Skyrim comes on Xbox 360 first, and then it's not even guaranteed 30 days. After the 30 days, it may quote unquote finger twitch come out on PS3 and PC. And even on the PS3 they're having problems just because of their their hardware is so shit in the PlayStation 3 that it's taken longer than intended to code the game or the DLC for that system. I'm sure the DLCs for the PC is fine though. I'm sure it was ready the same time it was ready for Xbox, but the only reason they did it is more about money and screwing over their fan base.
I don't know about that because like Oblivion feels like a game that was originally placed on the PC that was ported to the console.
You think Skyrim was different?
Skyrim feels the opposite. Skyrim
What?
feels, oh yeah, because they have a gamepad mode in there, and the gamepad mode has the Xbox 360 controller on it. It's like it feels as if they actually designed it for the Xbox 360 first, well knowing or thinking that they would make more money on it on the Xbox 360, and then they just ported it to the PC. That's what it feels.
I don't know about that, although I don't have enough details to say if that's literally not true or true or not, but just by feeling, I think that Skyrim was probably would have been a better game for the PC as well. Because I mean, if you're looking graphics wise, any game on the PC is going to like make Xbox looks like a piece of shit when it comes to like shading and textures and all that. Like, so I really don't think that they would really like dumb down the game for console and then try and throw it over to PC. I don't think.
Well, on the PC version, you can basically download mods even on Steam to where you can enhance the actual look of the game. And like I've seen some screenshots, and I've actually tested it out on my system too, where the game just looks absolutely breathtaking when you download these mods. Now, of course, it takes more processing power and more video card strength.
That's the whole point. That's why it makes it better overall for the PC because you have more possibilities that you can do with it.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
like on the Xbox, you don't have those options.
No, you're just what you get is what you get.
Yeah, you're basically busy, escorting vampires and getting broken quests and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, the only thing other than other good mod I heard for Skyrim would be the one that would actually allow you to play co-op. I actually heard it was coming out this month, so it actually might even be out by now, and I haven't even looked into it yet. That would be awesome. Like I honestly deleted all my Skyrim saves so I could play Black Ops because I was that excited at the time, thinking it was going to be a great game, and it ended up being garbage. So
yeah,
literally, I'm actually thinking about just trading in Skyrim and just getting credit to buy on a PC and just start all over again. So if you guys have any comments, suggestions, leave them in the comments down below. And if you liked the video, go ahead and like it and share it if you liked it a lot. So I'm Trigr, and this is the end of Game Feed, and we're out of here. See you guys. You guys are faggots.
I think it was better if we didn't say anything.